Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So we had a bit of an announcement right here. Nothing really too crazy. I'll probably just make a quick update talking about this. But this is essentially going to be the Part 2 LR announcements. I think is essentially how this is going to go down. Here, we have the YouTube live stream link. So we can see that this starts on February 8th, 12:45 a.m. my time is when this is going to begin. Now, this is the fan meetup for the JP Dokkan player base. Remember that the fan meetup, just kind of like a very unfortunate thing. It did end up being canceled because of the, natural disaster in LA, the wildfires. But Global Dokkan was going to get the Part 1 fan meetup, but again, it had to be canceled. JP was then going to get the Part 2 fan meetup, which, is still going to be scheduled to happen here. So a lot of the reveals that we saw, like the roadmap and stuff like that we got, from, it was just, the little like video they released or whatever. We'll see that at the JP fan meetup. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So, I mean, I would imagine what we would get exactly from this on this day, February 8th, is probably going to be the LR art reveal. Right now, I'm thinking Super Gogeta, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and Orange Piccolo, I think, are my official locked-in guesses right now for what we'll see for the Part 2 LRs. So that, I think, would be a pretty fun lineup. I think that could work pretty well for Part 2, right? So we should see those during the actual Part 2 live stream. If we just take a look at the schedule here, remember that Vegito and Buhan, they come out in 20 hours. It's going to be, they're on a banner. We had a lot of discussion about this. We'll see exactly how this is going to turn out, but in the celebration details, it does show that there is going to be this EZA banner that's also going to have Gogeta and Janemba on it. Now, what I'm thinking is that banner is going to drop, and Super Vegito and Buhan will have their Super EZAs available. And then I think Gogeta and Janemba will probably just Super EZA maybe with Part 2 or maybe next week. I'm not 100% sure when we might. I do think they will Super EZA during the celebration. I just am not really too sure when exactly that's going to be. Next week, so the 3rd to the 7th, is probably going to be a heavy EZA week. Characters such as LR Kaioken Goku, LR Great Ape Vegeta, LR Full Power Frieza, LR Namek Goku, maybe even the Super EZA for STR Gogeta and Super Janemba. All of those characters, I think, could be EZAing or Super EZAing at some point next week. Next week will definitely be, again, kind of like an EZA content week. Then in 2 weeks, this is when, Part 2 is going to start. The Part 2 official date is, I believe, it's probably going to be like the 10th or the 11th. There probably is some clue in here if I look. Maybe sales or something. But I think probably around the 11th is when we can anticipate Part 2 beginning. Oh, that's just the 9th. Okay. On the weekend? It's going to start. Okay. I mean, I guess. Oh, but I guess if that's, yeah, okay, yeah, so it'll be right around then. And then I think the Part 2 LRs are probably going to be like the 14th or the 13th. So remember, remember, global players, you're kind of like now on, I'm just going to keep referencing Nano saying that JP is the canon timeline, and that is kind of like what we're at, right? Where, JP is kind of like the canon timeline of how they operate with the schedule for, like, anniversary and stuff like that. So on JP, Part 2 starts, and then that banners come, 3 or 4 days afterwards. It's the way it's worked for many, many years in a row now. Even the 6th anniversary, I think was like that. So again, it's been like this for quite a while. That's what's going to happen. And then we'll have the Part 2 LRs there. And then the week after, might be either the content or I think we could see the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and God's EZA on like the 21st or the 20th, or maybe that'll be on like the 24th and 25th. But, we've got a lot of stuff still coming throughout the anniversary. I think now is actually a beautiful time to bring up everyone's beloved the roadmap, which we're going to be seeing constantly and consistently. I guess it's interesting that the free-to-play characters have not even released yet, but, I mean, you know, DKP is towards the end of Dragon Ball, and then Kid Trunks is the end of Dragon Ball Z, so I guess it does make sense that they're not coming until Part 2, right? And then, obviously, they'll ease in Part 3. These guys, of course, drop tomorrow, so I would imagine by that Part 2 live stream, we'll have most of this filled in, would be my guess. And we'll see exactly how things are going to turn out, because we have, you know, the kind of like major slots for new characters. We have one for Android Cell Saga, one for DBZ movies, and we have 2 for Dragon Ball Super. So, it's like, you know, maybe like Super Gogeta is the Dokkan Fest exclusive, and then we get Veku as kind of like the banner unit. I think that's what we could see. Because, like, these very clearly, these 2 boxes right here are obviously these 2, Gogeta and Janemba. It literally could not be any more clear as day that they're actually going to be the ones that are going to be there. So, yeah, there we go. We have the Part 2 live stream event announced. We still have a lot of content coming up. People are mad at me right now. Again, I've been grinding my balls off. I know people will say, oh my god, you're covering these things that don't matter, like the Purple Stone shit and stuff like that, but like I gotta get it out of the way. I got delayed a little bit to getting into these 55% showcases because of my Vegito shaft, which, if you guys did not see, was only, you know, one of my top 5 worst shafts ever. Let's pull the numbers. I think it's like top 5 worst shaft ever. Alright guys, so here's the final numbers for Vegito. I spent, so these are stones just on Vegito, 10,900 stones on his banner. Okay. Now remember, there are the free multis, so in total we are at 14,500 stones worth. This is, you put this in the record books right here. First Vegito, 4th multi. Second Vegito, 260th multi. That's going in the rafters. We got LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers jersey right there, and then we got second Vegito, 260th multi, side by side. Twin goats up there. Yeah, that's, so, needless to say, sorry, again, I apologize, but that delayed me a little bit. You know, I will do this, sometimes, if I'm gonna give myself any credit, I know people, dude, I see the ego comments all the time. It's like, oh my god, you, in this, as a YouTuber, you can't even be happy that you come up with a good idea or something clever or something that works well. You can't even be happy with it before they jump down your throat. Oh my god, he's so ego. Bro, I don't know, it just hit me. Walter White in that whole episode, it worked perfectly, man. It worked perfectly. This one, so I was going to do a zombie peeling its face off, and I had the image, but then I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This will probably get demonetized. And I already, in one of those hot takes videos, just said, fuck it, and played the full Kaiba clip. So that video is just demonetized forever. So I was like, you know what? Let me just not use the zombie peeling its face off image. That's what I was going to do. Because that's what I was, if you're looking for the real crash outs, they're in this video, not this one. But this is kind of continuing my frustration, but this is where the real crash out is in that one. Okay, so, yeah, we're looking good, though. We're looking good. Damn, I'm getting really sidetracked. I mean, can you tell that this is pretty much the first video of the day I'm recording? I'm even extra chatty. I did make a beginner guide with Iron, but, I mean, that's, you know, I'm blah, 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 blah. I was prepared to do, I'm doing the Super Saiyan 4 Goku 55% video. We're about to jump into it. But I did want to make sure, some people were thinking that we could have seen Gogeta and Janemba, potentially Super EZA with Buhan and Super Vegito. And I don't even think it's like the most crazy thing ever because they're right there on the banner with them, right? But I guess they're just going to be sitting there. And then Gogeta and Janemba, they're actually just going to be getting their Super EZA at some point during the celebration. We don't know exactly when, but I mean, it's very clear that they're going to be there. So let me know what you guys think. 10th anniversary of Dreams is moving on quickly. You know, now we know this date right here. That's when we'll see the Part 2 LRs actually revealed. Hopefully we'll get maybe some info, like they'll take like questions from the players, something like that, and can reveal that. Because remember, it was the 8th anniversary one of these where they told us things like, oh, you know, we're working on, you know, animations for like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and like Beast, like, you know, characters who don't have animations they could use anymore, and kind of how they'll get around that to release future versions of those characters. Because, you know, Beast, Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they're, you know, some of the more popular characters. I think so. UI Goku, you know, came out. He was the pinnacle of hype when he first came out, but it does feel like his hype has waned. I think maybe overuse is one reason. They spammed him in all media, everything in the Dragon Ball Super manga arc, all over, everywhere, right? Beast doesn't feel like he's losing his hype to me. Like, Beast is still kind of, I feel like, at that same level. But the UI has gone down a little bit. So, because what happens is a new form will come out and it's super hype, but then after a couple of years, the fusions are more popular again. Fusions are always just the most popular, right? So, all right, let me know what you guys think. A lot of stuff still to come in the 10th anniversary of Dreams. And do not worry, I will have the 55% videos for Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku up today. There is so much content to cover, but your boy is ready for the task.